Okay, so the many people attend, many people apply for jobs, and the interview process ideally is a process of elimination, because everyone who has been invited to the interview has the potential of becoming the selected employee. The differentiator is the interview, which is why it is very, very important to prepare for interviews. So I'm expecting that the session is going to be very interactive. I'm expecting a lot of questions from the group, because this is it's a wide topic. We cannot cover it exhaustively today, and there are chances that you might miss out on like very many important aspects of interview preparation. So yeah, we're going to leverage more on the questions coming in from the chats. Okay. So like I've said, your CV, after doing your CV and you apply for a job, the CV is what will make the interviewer call you for interview. And after you've been called for interview, you're not the only one who has been called for interview. Several people have been shortlisted, which means all your technical skills are at par. Next, the recruiter is looking for a person fit, if you're fit for their organization. And this is why it is very important to prepare. We prepare by doing a lot of research about the organization that we want to join, and also by doing research on how to answer interview questions, and how to just how to carry yourself during the interview, your demeanor during the interview. So there are few pointers. Last time we shared a score sheet for those who are there. That's the template that the HR people usually use for interviews, because now it has to be standardized, and sometimes recruitment is audited. So they have a template that they use. If you are not in that session, you can follow up with me so that I can share with you the templates. Now today we are looking at the part of the candidates. Now, after you've been invited for interview, the selection process starts. That's where the selection process starts. How you're going to respond to that email of being invited for interview, how you communicate, like your etiquette. And on the day of the interview, the time you arrive for the interview, if you're running late, if you communicate, and during the interview, like your posture, it matters. How you answer the question matters. How you answer the questions shows if you have mastery in that particular job, that particular industry that you want to join. Yeah, so all of us are qualified in everything that we are doing, but companies are very different. They have very different operations. They have very different structures. And what's going to give us a cut above the rest is the information that we have about the company. The more information we have, the better our chances. As for preparing for interviews, that one you can be doing mock interviews from time to time, because the okay, it's not the only way, but for you to land a job, you have to go through an interview. So the more mock interviews you do, the better your prospects. Mock interviews are interviews that are carried out among your peers. It's just like it's like acting. One person acts like a recruiter, another one acts as an interviewee, and you begin to ask each other the interview questions, and in between you give feedback to each other, like this question you didn't answer it comprehensively, or you didn't understand uh, what I was asking. So that it's basically an interview that helps you to identify the mistakes you're doing, and it helps you also to become self-aware of your strengths so that you can begin to maximize on them. Yeah, so um, there's that first question that is usually asked during most interviews. The question about tell us about yourself. So that question might be asked in different formats. Some a recruiter may tell us may ask you to let's say take them through your CV. That's also another way of asking that question. So if the question is open, like tell us about yourself, ideally what the recruiter wants is for you to tell them how your skills and competencies are going to be useful for the position that has been advertised, the position that they're looking to fill. Remember, we've said that an interview is an elimination process. So if you begin to tell them things about, let's say you have a family, you live in this place, those are irrelevant things. The recruiter will find out about those things much, much later when they're offering you the job, or let's say when you are filling in your personal details form. But for that question, you need to first of all tell them why you're the best person for that job. And how you do that is by telling them how your previous experiences and competencies have given you skills that are going to answer to their need. So when you study the job description, you're going to identify the needs of the client, the needs of the company, sorry. And that's how you're going to like match your skills to the to be able to fit into that job description. That's how you're going to be a person fit for that organization. So some common mistakes that most people do when they're asked that question is by starting to narrate like their life history that is totally unrelated to the career. And some just say, like there's some candidates who just say, my name is so and so, and I've come for the interview, just like that. So you find the recruiter remains with more questions. The recruiter is like, the recruiter remains with more questions, and they're prompted to ask, like, after that, what next? After that, what next? So don't be mean with your information, but also don't give too much unnecessary information that does not have anything to do with the job that you are applying for. And the candidate is able to set the tone of the interview by how they answer that first question. If it's a candidate who has a career gap or a special need, for example, let's say they're a person with disability, that's the point. That's the if the okay the disability is not a problem, but it's just good to let your employer know about it. If it's sometimes it's going to hinder how you do your work. Okay, so I think there's a question on the chat. Do you conduct interview coaching? Okay, yeah, we'll answer that question as we go. So just keep the questions coming, keep the questions flowing in the chat. We'll answer them as we go. Okay, so any question relating to how you answer the first question of the interview? Any question relating to how you answer? Tell us about yourself.
Hi, Bev.
Hi,
Um,
Michelle.
I just wanted to know, is there like the way you've said, don't give too little information or just don't give too much information? So
Yes.
is there like Um, maybe how long we can take to answer that question? Probably like 3 minutes, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Don't go beyond 5 minutes. So is there like a stipulated time ama mtu aongee tu?
Okay. So like we've said, it's the candidate who sets the tone for the interview. So the things you're going to say, they're either going to make you an interesting candidate, or they're going to make you a boring candidate, or they're going to make you fail the interview. So there's no a standard time that you're supposed to take 1 minute or 3 minutes or maybe 5 minutes, but the moment you must have an elevator pitch so that when they give you the opportunity, the things you tell them, uh, you're going to condense them in a short time so that they're now wowed by like how they're wowed by your response, they're wowed by your initial response. So you can take 3 minutes, you can take 5 minutes. If you discover that the recruiter is getting bored, you know that you're saying too much unnecessary information. You can observe their body language. You can see if they are writing something, they put their pen down and now they fold their hands. You can always observe the body language of the recruiter, and some recruiters can even cut you short and tell you, okay, that's enough, let's move to the next question. And if you're saying less, the recruiter will ask you, tell me more about this, tell me more about this. That's how you'll realize that you're mean with your information. So just like we have said, um, seize the opportunity to show how your skills are matching with the job. For example, if the job is the job of, let's say, a humanitarian worker, for example, as soon as you're told, tell us about yourself, the first thing you say, my name is Beverly, and I have a degree in humanitarian affairs, and I've been working as a humanitarian person for 3 years. In my experience, I've done this and this. I've traveled to different regions to help with selecting the people who need our services. I've helped in documentation, this, and this. So you see, that one is direct information that the recruiter requires. And even if I take a longer time to talk about those things, the recruiter won't be they won't be bored, they won't be offended, because it's actually what they want, they would like to hear. Okay, so there's no standard time, but you'll observe the recruiter's body language. You'll be able to see if they are getting bored, if they are getting agitated, and sometimes even okay, I've had candidates who tell me they attended the interview, and during the time they were explaining about their experiences, the recruiters started laughing. Yeah, so and at the end of it, the candidate didn't get the don't usually get the job. So, and they're always wondering, like, what could I have done wrong? Because the recruiters were happy with me, but that only means that the information they were giving, it was irrelevant, and yeah, it was funny. Like it was not what the recruiters were looking for. So there are always those telltale signs, and you can take back your power during an interview. You see, the recruiters are there to check, to eliminate. So the interview belongs to the candidate ideally. When they tell about themselves, they are talking about their experiences. They are selling out their skills, like their competencies, why they are the best person for the job. So the recruiter is just there to ask questions and follow up questions. So it's the quality of your answers which are going to make you the best candidate. It doesn't really matter if it's 2 minutes, if it's 3 minutes, if it's 5 minutes, it doesn't matter. Okay, Michelle, I hope I've answered. Okay. So, Michelle, you have a follow-up question? Okay, that's fine. Um, so before you attend an interview, um, you have already written down the email to thank the recruiters for the opportunity, and you've confirmed your availability for the interview. Now, next is to prepare all the documents they requested of you, and to like find out just everything about the company, so that you don't also panic, because panic comes when you are unprepared. Last week, someone was invited for an interview. They don't usually do mock interviews, but they were invited for interview on a short notice. It was like on a Wednesday, and they were invited for interview on Thursday at 3 p.m. So first of all, it throws them off the balance, because they have to research all the information that pertains to passing interviews. And you see, now that is a lot of information that they're trying to consume within a very short period of time. And sometimes if you do interview coaching through, like through YouTube and through maybe TikTok, you find that sometimes the recruiters, they contradict themselves. So if it's the first time you're interacting with that kind of information, before you research, before you confirm, you find that the time for the interview it's already time for the interview. And just by the mere fact that you are unprepared, it can make you to lose the opportunity. So research the company. There's LinkedIn, there is YouTube, um, there is the TikTok. You can just work with the career coach. Let them give you the information that you need about the company. Remain calm, because the interview process, different companies have different interview approaches. You have some companies which do written tests, companies which do typing tests, and then first interview, second interview. And some companies also require you to go to the site, like they require you to go to the site for an interview. So you have to be very open-minded. It won't be like the template you're used to. So the more the preparation, the better your chances. And when you're prepared, when you do mock interviews, you get that skill. You get that skill of the interview. You know, when you have the skill, you can be approached from any angle, and you can just easily answer the interview questions, rather than getting a template for getting a template which is just like information based. It means then if an interview takes a different turn, it's going to get you off guard. Okay, so another thing they ask during interviews is the behavioral questions. Behavioral questions, like they gauge how you work in a specific culture, if you're going to fit in their culture. So most questions asked during this in this part of the interview are, they're going to gauge your teamwork, they're going to gauge your adaptability, they're going to gauge your flexibility, they're going to gauge your conflict resolution skills. Yeah, so if on your CV you had highlighted all those things, like you're flexible, adaptable, those are unnecessary on your CV, because they're going to be interviewed, they're going to gauge those during an interview. On your CV, you write your technical skills. It's your technical skills which will give you the interview. And then once you're at the interview, now uh, they're going now that you've arrived at the interview, now they're going to ask you questions that are going to show if you're a team player, if you're flexible, if you're adaptable. Yeah, so they can ask you questions like, tell us a time where you worked in a team and there was a difficult team member. Tell us how you managed a team. Tell us of a time where you led a project. What was the project and what was the outcome? Yeah, tell us of a time where you worked under pressure. So they ask those questions, and those are questions you're supposed to expect. So what you can do, you can sit down, and you yourself, you can try to come up with questions. Yeah, instead of just waiting, because um, they will ask you a question, and then you'll start to think about it. Like, when did I work in a team? You see, and as you're thinking about it, you begin to panic because you feel like you're wasting the recruiter's time. So it's something that can be done. Just sit down, think about teamwork, think about all the questions that can come in relation to teamwork, how you formed a team, how you do you like working in a team, or do you like working as an individual, and why? Yeah, what are your strengths? Things like that. What are your weaknesses? How do you respond to pressure? Have you had a situation where your boss was away and you had to take up that role? So how did you respond to that? Yeah, things like that. So this one's ideally you can you can't be coached on how to answer them because they depend on your personal experiences, and the recruiter is able to see, like, this example that this person has said, is it credible? They're able to check, like they're able to know if you have told them the truth or you've just formulated a scenario. So authenticity will go a long way in giving you the marks, in making you to score highly in that particular section. Any question to that point? The question about telling them about yourself is a must. It can be phrased in different ways. And then the question about the behavioral question is also a must. It can also be framed in different ways. And then we have the business acumen. That's also something they ask. Now, this one is specifically related to their industry and specifically related to their company. You'll find they'll ask you questions like, do you know the mission and vision of this company? Do you know when this company started? Do you know our values? Do you know our clients? Do you know in which regions we operate? Yeah. So last time we saw that the bulk of the interview goes into, like, the technical part of an interview carries very less marks. You'll find that if a score sheet has a maximum of 100%, then the technical part is going to be, let's say, just 20% or 15%. All the rest are going to be about how the person answers the questions and or everything else apart from the technical. So, like, the question about business acumen, this one is what makes most candidates to fail, because as they attend more interviews, they gain the skill of answering all other questions. But the one for business acumen, because it is industry specific, because it is company specific, if they have not researched, they fail that question most of the times. So I've come across candidates whom, let's say, I ask, like, what does this company deal with? And they're completely unaware. So, like, that's the simplest question. Let's say if you attend an interview at Naivas supermarket and they ask you, what do we deal with? And you're surprised, or like, yeah, you say you don't know. You see, like, now the recruiter is wondering, is this person even good for us? Yeah, because they have the skill of, let's say, an accountant, but now they don't know what we are doing. So, yeah, this person is qualified, but not for us. Okay. So the which is why it is very important to research about the company. You don't necessarily need to know how much profits they make, like how much dividends they paid out the previous year, but you need to understand their business. That's why it's called business acumen. You need to understand their business. Where do they get clients? How can they get more clients? Who are their competitors? Okay, things like that. You understand about the business of that particular company. Any question to that point? So for that, when you're invited for interview, you'll probably have a day or two in between. And if you've been practicing interviews all along, then this time that is remaining between the time you've been invited and the time for the interview, now you can now use it to research the company. Because of course you can't be researching about different companies without when you've not even been called for interview. So the only thing you need to be researching on during the time between the time you're called for interview and the time for the actual interview is information about the company. All the rest you're supposed to have covered previously during your mock interviews. Okay, if there's no question about that, we move to the question about those questions which come at the end of the interview. There's the salary. Sometimes they can ask you to quote the salary you expect. They can ask you to say your availability. This is the time when you are expected to join them. Yeah, sometimes they ask you to ask them questions. So okay, let's start by when they ask you to ask them questions. So your questions are supposed to give you more information. The questions are going to ask them are supposed to be questions that are giving you more information about the role or more information about the company. Because like I've said, the more you find out about the company, the better you place yourself, like the better you make yourself a person fit for them. Because if you find out something about the company, you're quickly able to think, how can I solve that problem? Or how can I be the best for what they're looking for? Yeah. So when they tell you to ask them a question, you can ask like, what are some of your needs? Like, what are some of your needs in the company apart from this role that you're interviewing for? Or you can ask them, what's the structure of this department that I'm going to join? They now tell you we have a head office like this, like this. And so you ask, okay, so when I come in, I'm going to do this and that. So you see, you've already started to induct yourself into the into the company. And you find when you ask such questions, it's difficult for the recruiter to sideline you, because it's like they've already started inducting you into the role. Let's say if you ask a question like, um, besides now, like besides the job description, do you also do? Okay, let me give an example. If you're a HR, and you've been invited for a recruitment role, you can ask a question like, besides recruitment, will I also be doing onboarding? Yeah, like I'd like to know how you do your onboarding. So you see, when they begin to answer you that question, they're actually inducting you into the role. And as they induct you into that role, it's going to trigger something in them that this person already, like this person is already one of us. So uh, either way, let them go to the next stage of the interview. So your questions should be um, role specific or company specific. There are questions that must show that you're interested in the company or you're interested in the role. Yeah, some people ask the wrong questions. Some people ask questions like, after my probation, will I increase my salary? So you see, this person is not even sure if they have passed the interview. They've already started asking about remuneration. So the what this communicates to the recruiter is that this person is here because they want to get the money we are offering. And okay, their main motivation is the money. So once they come in, they will spot another opportunity elsewhere and it will be paying more and they'll move again. So we'll come back to recruiting for this position within a very short period of time. Yeah, so that one is a big turnoff. If you start asking about the benefits during the interview, it's a very big turnoff. If you start asking things like, besides the salary, will you offer medical cover? Will you offer like things uh, like exam leave? You see now, you've already jumped to the benefits part when you're not even sure if you're the candidate they prefer. So it's better to ask these questions at the very end, even in a different meeting, not particularly this interview meeting, when you're very sure that I am their best candidate and they will do anything for me to join the company instead of them beginning the recruitment process afresh. So those questions about benefits are better left for a different meeting or maybe at the very end of the interview. When they ask you to ask them questions, you ask questions that are specific to the role. Limit your questions to not more than 3 questions, because also you're not the one interviewing the recruiters. They're the ones interviewing you. So ideally, these 2 questions are just to fill in the gaps of what they may have missed during the interview, or what they may have missed in the advert. You're not also supposed to start asking, okay, question 1, I have this, question 2, question 3, question 4, question 5, question 6, because now those 2 questions are just supposed to fill up any gaps that were there during the time when they were uh, during the like what's not clear. They're just supposed to answer what's not clear and to give additional information about the role and about the company. The other thing is about availability. Some companies will put the expected reporting dates on the advert. This is mostly for non-governmental organizations. They usually put the expected reporting dates. And some companies will ask you, so if you're successful, when should we expect you to join us? So how you answer that question will depend on your current engagement. We have some people who are supposed to give 2 months notice at their current employer. We have people who are supposed to give 1 month notice. We have people who are supposed to give 2 weeks notice. We have people who are actively looking for a job and so they're available to join immediately. So again, how you communicate is what is going to um, like to give you a mutual understanding with the recruiter. So you can say something like, I'm flexible to join within the coming month. I need to give notice to my employer, and I also have leave days. We have provision to use leave days as our notice period. So I will need some time to do a handover, but within the coming month, I should be able to join if I'm successful. Yeah, you can say something like that. And if you're completely, if you are like you're actively searching, which it means you're not engaged, you can say I'm flexible to join when you need me to join, because like I'm actively looking for employment. Yeah, so it gives them room to, it doesn't limit them as well. Like it doesn't show you are rigid also. It shows that you are flexible to work within their within their timelines. Any question? And then there's the question about salary expectation. These are questions that that will be asked towards the end of the interview. Some companies will write the expected salary on the advert, and some companies will expect you to say your expected salary. So um like that when they ask you that question, it's not now a salary negotiation meeting. It's not a salary negotiation meeting, so you shouldn't like start bargaining at that point. Instead, you can tell them like, I would like to find out more about the role. I'd like to find out more about the company before I can make an educated quote. Yeah, before I can make an educated quote. Yeah, but if they insist, then before you go for interview, you must have done your research. Must have done your research about that particular industry. First of all, the companies in that industry, how much they pay. Must have done research about the area, the locality, because different localities pay different salaries for exactly the same position. So once you are with this information, you can you can give a range, you can quote a range, but specify that it is subject to negotiation and that you are flexible to work within their budget. Make it look like it's something that the two of you have to agree upon rather than it's you versus them. It's not you versus them. It is you and them together to come up with a salary that is comfortable for both of you. Yeah, so that question will always come up. Yeah, just tell them you'd like to discuss that at a different meeting later, because once they offer you the position, you'll be able to understand more about their offers and you'll be able to like make an informed decision. Uh, yeah, typically that's it for an interview. So we have some companies which do different different stages of interviews. So find like this like interview one is interview with the HR. So this one is the interview which gauges your person fit. After you've passed that, you now go for the technical interview. Now the technical interview is purely uh, it's purely your job description. The technical interview will gauge purely your skills, your competencies, um, vis-a-vis the job description. Yeah, sometimes you begin with the technical interview, then you go to the HR interview. Or sometimes the HR person will sit with the technical person in an interview and they'll collapse both the technical and the HR interview in one. So in that particular interview, you'll be asked both the technical questions and the HR questions. Yeah, so you'll find out you'll realize that the HR is asking you the behavioral questions, they're asking you about those salary questions, and then the other person in the interview will be asking you the technical questions, because that's ideally the structure of an interview. Yeah, but we have different companies who can call you in for a second interview, which is still like just the same as the first interview, but with a different panel. When this one happens, chances are high that it was very competitive. So they're unable to decide between you and another person which one should get the role. Yeah, so if you're called for the second interview, it's not a time to like relax and say, okay, yeah, I've passed the first one, so this one is just formality. No, it is not formality. It is even more competitive because they're unable to make a decision. So you need to be at your best. You need to be at your very best so that you can be the one they prefer. Yeah, sometimes second interviews are interviews now with the CEOs, or interviews with the head of department or the directors. So once the HR has already given a report about how you performed during the interview, you can be asked now to meet the CEO. They will now look at this person. Is this the kind of person you want to have in this company? And then they can even discuss the salary and the benefits with you at that point. Yeah, so just be conscious that the interviews are competitive from the beginning to the end. From the beginning to the end, there's no room for lapsing, because if you've been called again, it means several, like maybe two or one or two other people have also been called. So yeah, it's the road gets narrower. It gets narrower. Yeah. So what do you do at the end of the interview? Take some time, maybe a day, and write an email. Write a thank you email. Um, Tell them that, yeah, I'm grateful you gave me a chance to interview for this position. It was an honor for me to get to know more about this and this. Sure. Mention specific things that you learned about the company. So you can say it was an honor for me to learn that your organization structure is like this and this and this. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to the next. I'm looking forward to hearing from you on the next steps. So you see, it prompts the recruiter to remember about you, because some candidates, they go for interview, and after the interview, that's it. The only thing they do now is to call. You said we wait for 2 weeks. Now it's 2 weeks. So, like, what's the outcome? Yeah, but it's very different from receiving an email and saying, yeah, I was interviewed for this position yesterday. I'm so glad to have met your director, to have met the head of department of this section. And what I learned about your company is like it's like this and this and this. Yeah, which is a very beneficial thing to the society. So I'm looking forward to learning more about you. Please let me know the next steps. Yeah, let me know the next steps. Also, that email, it shows enthusiasm. It shows like you are ready to join. That's what it communicates. It communicates that you're ready to join. And also, it's not abrasive. It's not like an accusation. Yeah, you said we should wait for this time. We have waited for this time, so give us the feedback. Yeah, so it's a light way of reminding the recruiter that you're looking forward to joining the company. Okay, and you find candidates who behave like that are usually okay. Okay, it's not a must that they are the ones who will be selected, but you find like if candidate one is selected and the recruiter is not able to, let's say, onboard them, if one for one reason or another they're not able to be onboarded, then the recruiter won't go back to re-advertising. They're just going to call this other candidate who has been showing enthusiasm all the way, who has been showing like they're committed to joining the company. Yeah. You find that there are some vacancies which are usually re-advertised, and they're re-advertised because number one did not make it to join the company, either due to salary or something else. And now the recruiter feels all the other candidates, their attitude um, is I didn't like their attitude. So what we can do, let's re-advertise that position. So if you're a keen candidate, you might not necessarily be the best technically, but because of your demeanor, because of your enthusiasm, because of your consistency, they say, okay, now this one we're not able to onboard, but number two, let's think about so and so. You saw the email they wrote, yeah, the things they learned about our company. So they're really interested in joining this company. And because they're number two and number three, it won't do us any harm if we onboard them. So sorry about that. Yeah, so it's you can also take advantage of that strategy. So let me tell you about a story of how I got my first job after graduation. So I was okay. I graduated with HR, and then I began looking for jobs. And because I've never been in a like I've never gotten hands-on experience in a HR department, I was just doing guesswork. Like, this is how a CV is supposed to look like. In those days, we didn't have so many career coaches. So I just do my CV, I send my application letter. And so I was not applying for internships for, okay, I didn't even know I need to apply for internship because I was just applying for jobs. So I saw a vacancy for employee experience HR officer, who is also going to be in charge of compensation and benefits. So I applied for that position. Yeah, I was just matching the job description, writing good English. Sorry, I was matching the job description with with good grammar so that I can entice the recruiter to shortlist me. And true to it, I was shortlisted for that interview, and I can tell you, like, uh, I failed the technical part. I failed the technical part because you see, in school, we're not taught things like how to do a payroll or like which insurance companies can you use for medical, for WIBA. We are not taught such things. Those are things you only learn when you are already in the workplace. So when they were asking me those questions, me, I was just uh, frank. I told them, yeah, you see, these questions we were just taught in school. We need to do a payroll every month. But anything else outside that, we weren't taught. But after the interview, I sent the email. I was showing all the enthusiasm I've talked about right now. So after about 2 weeks, they called me. They told me, okay, so we interviewed you for this position. You are not successful. Yeah, but so we've already filled that position. And uh, so are you interested in a HR internship? Because, yeah, we like your attitude. And so are you interested in a HR internship? And I said yes. So that's how I got my first HR internship. And I'm glad it was a paying position. At least there was a stipend. Yeah, so I worked comfortably for 5 months as a HR intern, and then now I got the job as a HR assistant. Yeah, but you see, the interview, I can tell you I failed. Like, hands down, I failed because I was completely unaware of what compensation and benefits entails as far as the technical expertise is concerned. Yeah, but now the person who was interviewing me, they felt like this person, they're not able to get this position, but I think an internship, I think they're able to do an internship simply because of attitude. Yeah, so yeah, that's how I got that opportunity. So you can also use the same. You can also use the same now. Um, imagine you're the best technically and you also have a good attitude. Even if you quote a very high salary, they're going to try their best to match up to it. Yeah. So long and short, those are the few tips which I can give today. And I'm inviting questions. So Oscar is asking, is it okay to state your age? Maybe. No, it is not okay to state your age. It is not okay to state your age. Remove your age, your marital status, your religion from your CV. Okay, we have some adverts which are specific, like we want a Christian for this, or we want someone who is between this age to this age. Those ones you can write, but universally, don't put that information on your CV, because um, your CV might land on someone who has biased opinion. Let's say someone who doesn't like Christians. If you've written their religion is Christians, okay, it's wrong for them to sideline you, but because of their own internal conscious bias, they're going to like sideline you, or they're going to have an opinion about you. Now this one is a Christian and they're applying here, they're applying for this position. If they're successful, they're going to start here coming to pray, to put anointing oil on the seats. I don't want this person. So don't sell yourself short. Just make it about the interview. Make it about getting the interview. Put your contact information, put your personal profile, put your work experience, put your academic experience. If you're to put hobbies and skills, put hobbies and skills that are promoting, that are enhancing your profile. Yeah, so leave out those things about marital status, about age. No, because also a recruiter might think this person is now 20 years old, and if we give them this job, they're not mature enough. You see, let them see you during the interview, because when you're at the interview, you have a chance of convincing them. But when it's on your CV, like if they don't call you for interview, you will never have a chance of convincing them. Yeah, so different people have different opinions, they have different biases. Yeah, so just make it about the job. Once you get to the interview, you're going to convince them. You're going to convince them, as opposed to allowing them to sieve you out even before you get a chance to meet with them. Okay, thank you. Veronica, your hand is up.
Thank you, Bev. I
Yes.
have two questions.
Yeah.
You've been invited for an interview for a position
Mm-hmm.
that you're not trained for. For example, you're a teacher, but you
Yeah.
applied for this job, sales. Maybe you applied for a sales and marketing job. When you're
Yeah.
asked to tell us about yourself, how are you going to navigate there so that you are going to give your skills can be able to fit the
Yeah.
position that you applied for, now that you are not trained to be a sales and marketer, you're a teacher. The second
Yeah.
one,
Mm-hmm.
the interviewer has not asked you anything to do with salary. Are you good
Yeah.
to be the one to ask, to initiate that question if you have not been asked? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Veronica, for that question. So I'll go with the question one. I'll start with the question one. Um, I'm sure you applied for the sales job because you are aware of yourself, like you're self-aware that you have some skills relating to sales and marketing. And probably you've done sales and marketing before. It's just that you didn't get an opportunity to practice.
Yeah, that is it. That is it. I have experience, but I am not trained.
Yes. So for this recruiter to shortlist you, it means they're confident that if you're given the job, you can be able to do it. Your job now is to make them see, like, yeah, they can have that confidence in you. So write down a list of every place where you have done sales and marketing, be it in your church, be it in a, let's say, in your uncle's business, be it in your chama. Okay, just those all those experiences you have about sales and marketing. So when you're explaining about yourself, tell them I'm a teacher by profession and I have a skill in sales and marketing. I've been able to do sales and marketing for A, B, C, and D. During that time, I was doing those sales and marketing. Yeah, the revenue was like this. I onboarded new clients. We introduced new products, you see. So now you're not talking heavily about the teaching profession. You're talking heavily about your skill in sales and marketing. Because, like we've said, the first question is supposed to help you. It's supposed to help you to tell them why you're qualified for the job. So don't focus on the teaching. Just tell them, I'm a teacher. And besides being a teacher, I have this skill. I have done, this is how I've used it previously. And yeah, so I've seen the person you require. Uh, the person you require is the person who has a skill set that I have. Yeah, so once you give me this opportunity, this is how I'm going to use it. Just make it mention about the teaching job and then make the entire conversation about sales and marketing. Just gather all your previous experiences, gather how useful they have been, gather how which benefits they have made, which contributions they have made, gather anything you have learned about sales and marketing, bring it to the table so that they can know, yeah, this one is just a teacher, but yeah, this job is a job they can do. Okay. The question
Thank
the
you.
question two was about if they don't ask you about the salary during the initial interview, don't ask them about the salary. Your job during the first interview is to make sure you are the best person they can get. Make sure you're the best person they can get. Um, yeah, this you can do by using industry specific terms, let's say during the interview, so that they know, okay, we have different salespeople who we have interviewed, but at least this one, they even know the terms that you need. Let's say if it's a company like manufacturing industry, if you're interviewing for a sales job in a manufacturing industry, you can say things like, let's say bringing in the container, loading the container to be exported. Yeah, things like that. Like getting drop shipping, you see, things like that, drop shipping. You look for industry related grammar or industry related jargon. It's different. For example, if you're interviewing for sales and marketing in a hospital, that one you're going to talk about, you're selling your services to insurance companies so that they can enroll their clients to come to your hospital. You're selling your services to, let's say, different hospitals. You're going to different hospitals to check these ones don't have these services, so this is how we can partner. So you have to understand the industry related jargon. During the interview, use it. Make sure the recruiter feels this person, we cannot let go of this person. And then after they have told you you're successful for that position, now you can start talking about the salary. Because this is good. It's good to talk about the salary after the interview, because number one, you are sure I'm the person they want. You're sure I'm the person they want to do this job. Number two, you have found out as much information as possible about the company, because when you're being interviewed also, you're able to check this company, people behave like this. Yeah, so you get information about the company. And number three, you're aware that the recruiter, instead of doing another recruitment exercise, they can be willing to negotiate with you. You see, so those are the points which you can use, because if you start negotiating before the interview or during the interview, number one, you don't even know if the next candidate is going to outperform you. If they outperform you, number one, the recruiter say, even this one ashaanza kunitisha mshahara, so let me just tell them they were unsuccessful. Number two, you don't have sufficient information about the company. Let's say, for example, what you need, let's say, is maybe 100,000 or maybe 50,000. But with much information, you find out the company is able to pay 200,000. So you see, your initial you continue to adjust your expectation according to the more information you learn about the company. And if you do this during your first interview, chances are high you're going to quote a wrong figure. So if they don't ask you, it's even better for you because now you have more leverage, yeah, to walk around the company after the interview, to observe how the managers are treating the employees, yeah. So when it comes to the the salary negotiation stage, now you have all the tools that you need. You are aware you are the best. You are aware about what the company does. It's at the end of the interview, so all other candidates have failed and you are the best. You see, so it gives you more negotiating power. If they don't ask you during the interview about your salary, don't ask them. Just park that question and continue to gather as more information as possible that are going to increase your chances of getting a good package. Veronica, is that answered?
Yes, it is. Thank you so much.
Okay. So, Oscar, you have your hand up.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
In the event that you do an interview and after some time they give you feedback that you are
Sorry,
successful.
I lost you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I was asking,
Mm-hmm.
you do an interview,
Yeah. Yes.
then after some time you're given feedback that you are the successful candidate
Yes.
through a phone call. Now the HR is trying to negotiate the salary payments with you, and then they
Yes.
give you an offer
Mm-hmm.
of which you're not comfortable with it. So you give them a counter offer.
Yes.
Then they tell you they'll give you feedback maybe after a week,
Mm-hmm.
but they go silent, and
Mm-hmm.
it's 2 weeks they have not given you any feedback. Is it
Okay.
appropriate for you to call them back and ask their decision?
Okay. Thank you for that question, Oscar. So if a HR calls you to offer you the salary, what I will do, I will tell them, okay, when can I come so that you can discuss this salary? Because now they have shown me that I'm their preferred candidate. And you see, salary negotiation, it's not something like um, I'm giving you 50, you say no, I want 60. Okay, that's fine. It's not straightforward like that. You have to, it's like it's a negotiation. So you have to come and meet this person in person so that they tell you, I'm giving you this amount X, because of this, and this. And then you tell them, no, I need amount Y because of this, and this. So they tell you, no, we can't get amount Y. You tell them, okay, let's now get to the middle point. So it's a whole conversation, which if you do on the phone, first of all, um, something like what happened to you might happen, because now they're telling you, okay, now if you don't have time to discuss, okay, if you don't want this salary, let me just move on to the next candidate. It's very different from when you are there at the office, because now it means they have to schedule a meeting with you. They have to understand you. They have to understand why you want salary, why. And all this information cannot be explained on the phone. So just if such a thing happens, tell them, let me come tomorrow so that you can discuss further about that offer. So when they give you that opportunity, now write down a list of all the whys why your preferred salary should be the one that the two of you work with. You can say like now, I have these skills you asked for. Number two, this is the nini in the market. The current market rate is this amount. Number three, uh, let's say this industry, like this company is ranked company this and this and this. So uh, it needs to pay this position this amount, you see. And now when you're there during the meeting, you're able to understand their mood, you're able to understand their nonverbal communication. So you present your points, have them written down so that also you don't forget, because that salary negotiation meeting is usually very tricky because most candidates don't practice. Most candidates don't prepare for it. They just know, I want salary. Why? And when they asked why you want this salary, why, they begin saying cost of living, sijui nini, things like that. But the recruiter is not interested in like giving you enough money. They're interested to meet their budget. So it's you to come and show your value. Yes, during the interview they saw you're the best, but come and show it in person. In person it is much better. Chances of being brushed off when it's an in-person interview are very low, because you might find out that you now agree on a midpoint. Let's say they had said 50, you had said 60. If you come, you'll arrive at maybe 55 or 57. But if you're at home, or let's say if they tell you we'll get back to you, they move on to the next candidate, you see now you've lost everything. So if an offer is through a phone call, just tell them thank you for the offer. Yeah, can we discuss it kindly? Let me come tomorrow. Let us discuss the offer. So that during that discussion, you're able to see, you're able even to be flexible. Yeah, because now you'll see like anyway, let me take this 50 instead of staying at home without a job. So it's very important. It's very important when you're made an offer through the phone. Come, go to the place, meet the recruiter, let them understand I need salary Y because of this, this, and this. Come up with a list, a concrete list of reasons why they need to give you that salary. Because you see, most companies, they're usually uh, like fast paced. So if it's a position like a mid-level position, they can easily find a replacement for that position. So if you say you need salary, a different salary than the one they are offering you, and you don't have reasons, reasons on your fingertips, the next thing they will do is just to call the other candidate who might have been qualified. So yeah, you can decide to go and meet the recruiter so that you can talk face to face, so that they can even see like let me just give this person the amount they're looking for, to malizane, let them join the company. Okay, Oscar?
Okay, maybe I missed this one. I wish I knew
Yes.
earlier.
Yes, yes,
But
yes.
now,
So that
the HR in this scenario,
mhm.
the HR was courteous enough because I was far away from the city where the job was being offered. So
Okay.
he told me we just discuss over the phone so that he sees what he's going to
Yeah,
present to the board.
yeah,
So when I gave the counter offer, he told me that he will table the offer and then they will get back to me
yeah.
if all
Did
goes
he give
well.
you did he give you an opportunity to explain why you are countering the offer?
Yes, they did.
Did you have reasons why you are countering the offer?
Yes, I gave them my reasons, and
Uh-huh.
that's why he told me that he will get back after he has talked to the other parties about the same.
Okay, so what were some of your reasons?
So some of the reasons were one, I
Mm-hmm.
was to shift from my current hometown
Yeah.
to the other town.
Mm-hmm.
So currently I live in Nakuru, but the job was being offered in Nairobi. So I also told them I have a family. So that means I'm going to have to pay house rent for two houses.
Yeah, you see
So
now the reasons you mhm.
you can continue.
Yes, you see now the reasons you are giving are your own reasons. Like it's like you are asking them for a favor. You're asking them, yeah, please give me 60,000 and not 50,000 because of rent in Nairobi, because of transport, because I need to relocate. But should maybe you should have said, I need 60 because of the value I'm bringing. You saw during the interview, apart from the skills you needed, I also have this skill which I'm going to use to make the department to be more technologically savvy. Let's say, for example, and then number two, the research shows that the market rate is this and this. You see, so don't negotiate from a point of seeking for a favor. No, because there's another candidate in Nairobi who is already adjusted to the living conditions in Nairobi, who is going to accept their salary. So for you to make them not take another candidate and take you, you have to show the value you're bringing to the company. And then also another thing, if this is a consolation, we have different companies are their cultures are not good, let me say. So you find the HR maybe moved on, maybe even they told him now that position, if you have not yet filled it, don't fill it fast. We will tell you when to fill it. So what happens in HR departments in different companies is sometimes it's unethical. Yeah, but sometimes now, because now we are the ones looking for jobs, we have to work with how they are also working. Because myself, I've worked in companies where they tell me, recruit for this position. We need this person to come immediately. So after I've shortlisted people, I've called people for interviews, then now they tell me, no, we have decided that position is no longer so much important. So now what you can do, post that recruitment, let's recruit for another position. So you find that the candidates are already prepared for interview. Sometimes even the candidates have been interviewed, and then the HR has been told, put on hold that recruitment. So if it finds that you've negotiated and then the recruitment is no longer going through, then something like that can also happen. Yeah, so don't lose heart. Different organizations do things differently. Yeah, the important thing to note is that we have plenty of opportunities and uh, there's one available for you in a workplace that is not toxic. Okay.
Okay, another reason,
Mhm.
they told me that the position they were offering, it was a new role.
Yes,
So
you see?
that was
Yeah.
the budget that they had.
Mhm. Yeah, you
So my
find that
question
if it's if,
was, since
mhm.
since they have not given me feedback, is it okay if I call them back and ask
uh
what they came up
yes.
with?
Yeah. Yes, you
Okay,
can call them back. Yeah, you can call them back. Just make an inquiry. Tell them
okay,
I was supposed to our conversation is still pending because you told me you'll get back to me regarding recruitment for this position, and now I'm yet to get information from you. It's okay to call back.
okay. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So John was asking, do you conduct interview coaching? Yes, we do. Yes, we do, John. And we require your the job description for for the company for the role you're going to be interviewed for. Yeah, and then we craft interview questions for you. Yeah, and then we do interview coaching. So I will share on the link. I'll share on the chat the link to our WhatsApp group so that we can continue this conversation. during the week. Dora, you have a question?
Yes, I do have a question. Thank you, Beverly. My question is,
Yeah.
a friend of mine was going
Mm-hmm.
for a certain interview somewhere. So
Mm-hmm.
they asked me a few questions that they might be asked in the interview during the interview, which I told her. And
Mm-hmm.
apparently, those questions are the same questions she was asked, and she ended up
Mm-hmm.
getting the position. So now my question is,
Mm-hmm.
since she got the job, I
Mm-hmm.
also wanted to ride on it and also apply for an opportunity at that place. But at that
Mm-hmm.
time, they didn't have any, they never advertised. So what she did, she gave me
Mm-hmm.
the number of the HR and an
Mm-hmm.
email address. And you see, this
Mm-hmm.
is someone I don't know. So when I
Mm-hmm.
shared my CV with them, with the HR now, and
Mm-hmm.
I took my application there in person, but I was told I couldn't see them since I didn't have
Mm-hmm.
an appointment. And
Yeah.
being a new person, since she gave me the number, I called her. But when I
Mm-hmm.
called her, yes, she picked, and she said I call her some other time. But later
Mm-hmm.
on, you find when I tried now calling her, the other times, she never
Mm-hmm.
picks my call, and
Mm-hmm.
when you text, she never responds. Like she just went mute. So
Mm-hmm.
now I'm wondering, how should I go about this thing?
Mm-hmm.
Considering there's also someone in that same place who told me that particular HR, she's not
Mm-hmm.
that bad. You see, those uptight people, like she's not that kind of a person. But now when it came to my
Mm-hmm.
case, I've tried doing emails, I've tried calling her. It got to a point now we wanted to
Mm-hmm.
do, because she was going to meet the lady on a Saturday. So I wanted, maybe when they are meeting
Yeah.
at that restaurant or something, I hijack the meeting. But apparently it never
Mm-hmm.
like we never did it. So I'm wondering
Mm-hmm.
what's the best approach to handle this case, even
Okay.
just for the
So
attention.
uh I'm sorry about what happened to you. But like, are you just interested in this particular company, or maybe we
Yes,
have?
I'm interested in the company
Mm-hmm.
because I'm in the financial sector, and
Yes.
I felt it's time for a change. And
Mm-hmm.
according to me, I was actually eyeing that particular institution.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Yes.
then the thing will be, the best way to approach it is to wait until they advertise for a vacancy, because yeah, like HR, they usually do very many recruitments. They do very many recruitments, and you find they're even working with a recruitment calendar. So in order for them to give you the attention that you need, yet the position is not actively being recruited for, might be difficult. Let me say, unless maybe they have something also personal. I may not tell, but because now they're all their job, like what they do Monday to Friday is recruitment. They're recruiting for the whole company. After this position, they do this position. So you find that if it's really not a position that is actively being filled, they may not be able to give you that opportunity. So if you have the phone number, you can drop them a message. I think that would be a bit, it will be a bit receptible, like it will be a bit less, uh, because also from the end they're feeling like, yeah, let me just deal with what is on the table, let me deal with what needs to be done. These others, like, they're not so important, so I can as well ignore. So I don't know. If you can wait when they have a vacancy now, you can now apply straight away. Or you can drop them an email, or you can drop a message. And then now just give it time. Let's say do a follow-up after let's say a month. After let's say a month. instead of like now being consistent with it, because also it might push them away. I don't know if that helps, Dora. Also, when you're calling, call within the working hours, call within 8 to
Yes.
5. Call within 8 to 5, because personally as a recruiter, I've had candidates who call me, let's say at 8 p.m. at night, 9 p.m. So you see, now when they're out of office, it's not easy for them to remember. Like you see, like me, some people are calling me and telling me I was interviewed last week. Yeah, so I have to ask which position, because last week I interviewed, let's say 3 positions. Yeah, and then they begin to say, "Sasa kwani haunikumbuki?" You see? So if you're calling, call between 8 to 5. And then if they have an official line, call with the official line so that it can be transferred to the HR department. So that it's like it's part of work they're doing. Instead of now calling on the personal, when they can say, this is something personal, I can do it after work. And then after work, when they realize it's not like it's work related, they say they can even postpone it to, I'll deal with this tomorrow. And the procrastination continues, and then it continues. So one, you can drop them a text or an email, and then call through the office line, wait for a vacancy to be advertised, and then reduce the frequency of the follow-up, so that you also give them that space to like digest. Yeah, I don't know if that helps.
Okay, I hear you. I hear you. But I thought
Yeah.
maybe if I called her now,
Mm-hmm.
we shall have created perhaps a rapport,
Mm-hmm.
so that in the event that opportunity arises, then it will be
Yeah.
even easier.
Yes, that's very much okay. Yeah, if that's what you're trying to do, then um okay, drop them a text and ask, when can I call you? Let them tell you when they can call, so that uh it's uh it's not official also, and it's not also friendly, so that at least they can have you in their pipeline. So just ask them when you can call, like when they're most comfortable for you to call. Just tell them, I need to discuss something with you. I'm aware there's no active recruitment ongoing, but just give me some time. Let me know when the best time. Let me know the best time for me to call you. Okay,
Okay.
Dora.
Yes, thank
Uh,
you. Thank you.
okay. We have a question from Milka. Hello, everyone. Thank you. Why do you want to leave your current workplace? Yes. So this question, it usually comes about okay, from a recruiter's perspective. Now, when I see a candidate has stayed in a place for a very short while, uh, I'm prompted to ask, why do you want to leave this place? Let's say if a candidate joined and then they have not even completed 3 months probation, and now they have applied for this job in our company. So I'm shortlisting the candidate because in every sense they meet the qualifications that we need. So when they come for interview, the question which I must ask is why they would like to leave their current employer. Because let's say it signifies maybe there's a problem with the employer, or the culture is wrong, or maybe the salary is low. So I need to understand as a recruiter, why is this person moving from company A within such a very short time? So this question, sometimes it can be asked in a different way. It can be asked like, can I do references with your current employer? So the recruiter will either ask you why you would like to leave your current employer, or they can ask you if they can do references with your employer. Yeah. So the best way to answer this question, first of all, you can remove it from your CV. You can just, if you've stayed in a place for less than 3 months, you don't have to put it in on your CV and then you apply for a job, because this question will always come up. Yeah, so just tell them, yeah, like the job is in, let's say you want to change your industry, for example. So let's say you've been working in healthcare for a long time, and now you just realize, no, I need to be in manufacturing, or I need to be in banking, or I need to be, let's say, in retail. Just tell them, yeah, I'm looking to settle in the retail industry, and this opportunity is perfect for me because I need my skills. I need to have diverse skills, and I'm sure I can be a positive addition to your team. Okay. So don't talk about the money kindly. Don't talk about the salary, because now what it will communicate to the recruiter is that as soon as you join them and you get another place with a higher salary, you're going to exit. And that's what recruiters don't also like, because they want to recruit a position and they want the person to stay in the position for as long as possible. So if you know in your CV you stayed at a place for 3 months, and that 3 months was not like a 3 months contract, just remove it. Just remove it to avoid that question, because either they will ask you why you want to leave, or they will ask you if they can do reference checks at your former employer. Yeah, so you can talk about change of industry, or let's say your family is moving from place A to place B, and now you need placement in place B. You can talk about such things. Yeah, but don't talk about salary kindly. Don't talk about salary. Milka, has your question been answered? Milka, has your question been answered? Also another reason why I would ask why you want to leave your employer is if your employer is a known brand in the market. Let's say if everyone knows company A is the best, like they offer the best remuneration, they offer the best things, and now this person wants to leave such a good company to come to our company. Okay, I won't tell you that as a recruiter, but at the back of my mind, I will be interested to know what could be the reason why this person wants to move. And we said at the beginning that if you know there's any part of your career which might raise eyebrows, talk about it at the beginning of when you're telling them about yourself. So you could tell them, yeah, my name is Milka. I have experience in this kind of job. This is what I've done previously. So I want to move from company A to your company because of this and this. You see, once you talk about it at the beginning, now the whole interview will be smooth. Okay, there won't be there won't be question marks, because you've already told them at the beginning. You're telling them about yourself, so you might as well tell them, I want to move from my current company to this company because maybe they're going through a redundancy and it's unstable for me, or let's say they're going through a receivership. Yeah, there's a change in management. So talk about it. Talk about it at the beginning of the interview when you've been given an opportunity to tell them about yourself. Yeah, use that opportunity to disarm them, because now you already anticipate this question. As you're applying for this job, you're aware they might ask me this question. So prepare a response beforehand. Prepare a counter, like yeah, prepare what you're going to tell them. Tell them about yourself, and then you tell them, by the way, you'll notice I want to move from this company to your company, and it's within such a short time. So this is the reason why. Okay. Thank you, Milka, for that question. So I've put a link on the chat. It's the link to our WhatsApp group. Please join. Please join, because we'll be sharing more information in that group. And you can also keep asking your questions during the week. If you have a question related to your career advancement, just ask in that group. We'll be able to respond to it. Besides that, we do CV writing, we do cover letter writing, we do LinkedIn optimization, we do trainings, we do team buildings, yeah, and we do HR consultancy. So, Rita, let me just reshare the link with you. So that's the link to our WhatsApp group. Please join so that at any time within the week, if you have a question, just write it on the chat. These days, I see most people are already in the group. I don't know. They don't ask questions. I may not tell why, but you're free to ask questions there. They'll be well answered. We post vacancies there, so be on the lookout. And any other upcoming webinar, we usually post it in the group first before we share it anywhere else. So Dora, CV revamping is 2,500 shillings, but you can send your CV so that you can assess it, and then we can be able to negotiate that amount. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Charles. Thank you, Charles, for your comment. I hope you have joined the group so that anytime during the week, if you have a question, just drop it in the group. It will be well answered. Yeah, so we have 20 minutes to time. I'm welcoming any question. We have 20 more minutes.
Beverly, I have a
Yes.
question.
Okay.
So, I've been working out of Nairobi for quite some time.
Yes.
Just relocated back last year around
Okay.
July, around August. Let me just say
Okay.
August
Yeah.
to a new role.
Okay.
But I'm finding that the new role is
Mm-hmm.
not really interesting me that much, to a
Mm-hmm.
point that okay, fine, in the morning I wake up, I have the energy to go to work, to just
Yeah.
do my thing. But now when I get to work, I just find
Yeah.
that that energy has just drained, it has just depleted. I mean, they're just there
Yeah.
for the sake of being there.
Yeah.
Oh, what would you say about that?
Yeah. So what I can say about that is that you need to we need to have a session on career coaching, because from just the way you've described it, uh, you look for jobs, you don't look for career. Let me explain it this way. There's a difference
Uh-huh.
between a job and a career. So a job is something you do to make money. A job is something you do to make money. So it doesn't matter. If right now I'm a HR officer, I'm making, let's say, 50,000. Next, there's a position in sales and marketing. Yeah, I can be easily trained. It will give me 100,000. So I move to that one. Next, there's a business opportunity somewhere. It will give me 200,000. So I move to that one. You see, I'm getting the jobs that I can do to make money, but they're not they're not my career. Like, they're not my passion. They're not something I'm looking to build in the long term. A career is different, because when you have a career, you have the academic qualification for that thing, and you also have the work experience for that thing, and you're actually growing in that thing. Let's say if you're a finance person, you are in finance, and then let's say you're a finance assistant. Next, you move to finance officer, finance manager, finance consultant. So a career is better in the way, in the sense that you become employable for a long time. You can easily change jobs. You can easily change employers. Sorry. You can become a consultant. You can even, like, let's say, start getting passive income. Let's say because you've developed some things which people can buy, not necessarily requiring your input. So from where I sit, you have a job and you don't have a career. So because you have a job, there are times when money is not the main motivator, it becomes boring. Like it becomes boring. It becomes like you're doing it, but you don't like it. Yeah, so you need to have a career session so that we find out what is your true passion. And then we find out how can you be aligned now so that, yeah, you'll be getting the money, yes, but even while you're getting the money, you are now doing what you love so that money is not the only motivator that keeps you on the job. Yeah, so we need to have a session with you, a separate session, so that we dissect and see, like, now what's your true passion and what are you qualified for, and how can you be placed in a place where you are getting the money that you want, and then you're also happy with the job. You're able to grow, like vertically, horizontally. You're able to change employers. You're able to even be a consultant. Yeah. So Dora, maybe you can reach out to me after this so that we can organize a session and then we see how you can turn your job into a career, or maybe how you can go back to your career if you had a career, then now you started just looking for jobs.
Thank you. I think that will help me big time.
Oh, okay, you're most welcome. Once you've joined the group, we have myself, we have Hosea, he's my partner. Both of us will be able to support you. We'll be able to support you. Mhm. Any other question? Any other question? So my parting shot is don't wait until you're called for an interview to begin preparing for the interview. You will fail. You'll fail because, number one, you'll be gathering too much information within a short period of time, and it's going to make you nervous. It's going to make you unprepared, and your unpreparedness might even hurt your chances of getting the job. Yeah, because you are shortlisted, you have the opportunity, but you're not ready for it. Not because you're not qualified, but because like you're not prepared to show that you're qualified. Yeah. So begin doing mock interviews in advance. Begin doing your research in advance so that when you have the opportunity, you are ready. When you have the opportunity, you are ready for it. Yes. Thank you so much. My name is Beverly. Let me just turn on my camera for those who might not be knowing me. Yeah. So this is Beverly. Please join the group so that we can pick up the conversation from there. I'm so glad you were able to make it to today's call, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next Saturday. Thank you so much. You are free to drop off from the call. The recording will be shared later.
Okay.
Okay, the
Thank
recording
you.
will be shared later. Okay, you're most welcome.